If people are out here arguing that we should ban trans girls from sports out of fairness, I have a counter-proposal. Actually, we should ban rich kids. I mean, if it's actually about fairness and leveling the playing field, that's one of the surest bets that we have. This is Xtra Explains Trans Kids and Sports. There's a lot of bad science and false information out there around trans people, fairness, and sports, with some legislators and policymakers pushing to ban trans women and girls from competing out of fear that it would be unfair to cis girls. But when it comes to teens and kids sports, there is no evidence to suggest that trans girls can't compete fairly alongside cis girls. Scientists do agree that men and boys have some athletic advantages, but again, what does that even mean when it comes to things like strength or muscle mass, particularly after puberty? But trans women and girls are not the same as cis men and boys, even after puberty. Many undergo hormone replacement therapy or take puberty blockers, and even then there's no proven sporting results to suggest that trans women dominate women's sports when they're allowed to play and compete. And even in athletes across genders with higher testosterone levels than others, the science around testosterone and biological advantage is complicated. Sometimes testosterone is associated with better performance, but there's other studies that show weak links or no links at all between the two. So if the science is mixed and unclear, let's look at the real world. And let's be clear, there are not any cases of trans women or girls dominating a sport disproportionately. The examples thrown around in conservative media, often they're not even of trans women, like this rugby video Alberta Premier Daniel Smith shared, or Algerian boxer Iman Khalif from the Paris Olympics. In both cases, it was a cis woman that everybody was pitching a fit about. And high-level adult sports like the Olympics have rigorous processes in place before they even let trans people compete at all. But we're talking about kids' sports here. Little League hockey, Timbit soccer, you know, the same league where I had my own illustrious athletic career picking dandelions until I got hit in the face with the ball. Remember those days? In California, the state has let trans youth compete on the team that matches their gender identity since 2013 with no issues. U Sports Canada's equivalent to the US National Collegiate Athletic Association has allowed trans athletes, and we don't see them out here winning every championship and medal. And to be frank, any biological differences that trans girls might have, especially before puberty, aren't much different from a kid who's just naturally taller or better at sports than their classmates. Just look at these two Canadian gold medalists, Summer McIntosh and Cameron Rogers. There's a huge range of physical variation among cis women too. If you compare their athletic performance to an average trans woman, the trans girl is not going to win against either of them. This isn't the first time that people are trying to discredit the success of athletes from marginalized backgrounds based on science. There's a long history of similarly painting black athletes as genetically superior in an attempt to dismiss their hard work and training. You want to talk about an actual advantage? Let's talk about money. A 2021 study found that US high school athletes were much more likely to play college sports if they came from higher income families with well-educated parents and attended wealthier schools. So maybe we should talk about banning rich kids from sports instead. I mean, it's only fair. For more explainers and everything you need to know about trans youth, head to xtramagazine.com.